Hi guys, this is Sadiq from Droidwin.com, and in this video, we'll show you how to fix the boot loop or a soft brick state on a OnePlus phone. So as of now, my phone is currently stuck in a boot loop state. So as you could see from my phone, it will just show the OnePlus logo. I will get a warning that the bootloader has been unlocked, but my phone will be stuck in this loop and it will not go out of this loop. So as you could currently see from my phone, it will just undergo a loop after loop and only the same process will carry on. So in this video, we'll show you how to fix this issue. Before moving ahead, your first course of action is to boot your phone to fast boot mode. For booting your phone to fast boot mode, as soon as it is powered off, you have to press and hold the volume up, volume down and power keys. So press and hold all these three keys for around 10 to 15 seconds and this will boot your phone to fast boot mode. This is the first step. And after that we will proceed ahead with all the fixes. So press and hold the power, volume up and volume down, and as you could see, after around 15 seconds our phone is booted to fast boot mode. Now before doing anything else, let me tell you, I'll be starting off with the easiest of fixes and then I will move on with the advanced fixes. You just have to make sure that you should be able to access the fast boot mode. For accessing the fast boot mode, you just have to press and hold the power, volume up and volume down keys while the phone is powered off. As soon as you do so, it might take around 10 to 15 seconds and then your phone will be in the fast boot mode. So let's now start off with the fixes. So first off, you have to download the Android SDK platform tools. This is the official ADB binary given by Google and is required to execute ADB and fastboot command. So make sure to download it from the link given in my guide, and once that is done, let's first start off with the first fix. The first fix does not require an unlocked bootloader. So even if the bootloader is currently logged, that's not a cause of concern. What we are currently doing is that suppose you have flashed a ROM and the ROM file is corrupt or the flashing has gone corrupt. So in that case, it will only affect the current active slot. The inactive slot might still be having the stock OS. So we will first verify if that is the case or not. So we will simply boot our phone to the inactive slot. In other words, we will change the slot. So for example, if my current slot is A, I will boot my phone via slot B and check if my phone is able to boot or not. So this is the easiest of fixes, and in some instances it might work easily, or in other cases if both the slot have been corrupted, then it might not work. But before moving ahead, I am still telling you the process might not erase any data on your phone and it could work on a log bootloader as well. So first and foremost, let's make sure that this PC is able to read the phone in fast boot mode. For that, go to platform tool folder address bar, type in CMD and hit enter. This will launch the platform CMD window inside platform tools. Now type in fastboot devices and hit enter and make sure that you are getting a serial ID. If you are not getting any ID, then you will not be able to proceed ahead. In that case, you will have to install the fastboot drivers onto your phone. So let me show you. I have made a separate guide and a video as well. So please make sure to install the fastboot drivers onto your PC. It's recommended you are using a Windows PC and the USB 2.0 port and the official cable that came with your phone. So check mark all these three requirements and then you could refer to my video or the guide and make sure to install the fastboot drivers. Once you have installed the drivers, you should be getting a serial ID. Likewise, use the Windows X shortcut keys and choose device manager. Now you have to expand the Android phone section and make sure that your phone has been shown as Android bootloader interface. So this signifies that our PC is able to read the phone in fastboot mode and we could not move ahead. So I am starting off with the easiest of fixes. So the first fix is, as I have told you before, involve changing the slot. So first off, let's verify the current active slot on your phone. So for that, you just have to type in fastboot get var all. So simply copy this command, open CMD window and paste the command and hit enter. And now you have to look out for the value. As you could see, the current slot is B. So as of now, we are using the B slot. So we will now have to boot our phone using the A slot. So for that, there are quite a few methods that you could use. The easiest, for example, you could use the fastboot set active A and your phone will then boot to the A slot. On the other hand, if you have got the option as A, then you will have to boot your phone to the B slot. For that, you could use the fastboot set active B and your phone will boot to the B slot. However, ignore all this, and the best way of doing so is simply using the fastboot set active other. So whatever is your active partition, it will automatically switch over to the other partition, which is the inactive partition. So in my case, the active is B partition, so it will boot my phone using the A partition. If in your case it's the A partition, then your phone will boot via the B partition. So it's the universal command that works across all the phones and for all the partition. So simply copy this command and paste it in the CMD window and hit enter, and the slot has not been changed. So let's now verify if we are able to access the OS or not. So just type in fastboot, reboot and hit enter, and let's see if we are among the lucky slots or not. If in this case your phone boots to the OS, then it's quite well and good. All your data might be saved and your time and effort will be saved as well. But let's see if that is the case or not. So it will take a few seconds for that to happen, and our phone should now boot to the fast boot mode. So as I could see, that is currently not happening. Let me re-verify once again. So let me check out once again what is the current status. Just give me a couple of more seconds and then I'll verify that. So I am stuck in a boot loop. So again, I'll have to press and hold the power, volume up and volume down keys, all the three keys, for around 10 to 15 seconds to boot my phone to fast boot mode, and then I will move on with the second fix. So as of now, the first fix did not work for me. So in my case, both the partitions are now corrupt. So even if I use the A slot or the B slot, that does not matter. Both the slot in my case are corrupt, so I cannot use the first fix. Now let's proceed ahead with the next fix. So if you were in a boot loop when you were trying to obtain root, so in that case you might be simply flashing the boot img file. So in that case, fixing the boot loop is quite easy. I am only talking about those users who are in a boot loop because they were flashing the patch boot img file. To rectify that issue, all you have to do is download the fastboot enhance tool from my guide and extract them onto your PC. Along the same line, you will have to download the firmware which is currently installed onto your phone. So as of now, you will not be able to get hold of the firmware version. So make sure to verify from some other sources. For instance, you might be having a screenshot, or check out the ROM page if you have flashed a ROM recently. So make sure to download the same firmware which correspond to the build number. Once you have got the firmware, you will have to extract it, and let me keep it at extraction. Just a minute. So you will have to extract the ROM file, and upon extraction you will get a few files, out of which we need the payload.bin file. So likewise, make sure to download the fastboot enhance tool from here and extract the payload.bin file from the fastboot ROM and paste it inside the payload.bin file. Now I am only talking about those users who are in a boot loop because they were trying to root. So with that said, simply launch the fastboot enhance fastboot enhance application and go to payload dumper, or rather stay in this tab, and you should now see your phone. So double click onto your phone and you should now be taken here. Now what you have to do, so rather you have to go to the payload dumper tab, hit the browse button, and now you have to select the payload.bin file and click on open. It will now load the payload.bin file. So go to the partition tab, select the boot partition. If you have patched the matches boot img file, I am only talking about that. So select the boot partition and check mark allow incremental and click on extract image. Now choose a location. So let's choose desktop and click OK, and it will now give us the stock boot img file. Again, make sure that you are using the same firmware which is currently installed onto your phone. So as you could see, we have got the boot img file onto our desktop. Let me verify the same. So this is the boot img file. So simply copy this boot img file from here and paste it inside the platform tools folder. Once that is done, So I am already having, just a minute. So let me first rename my existing file to something else. So just to repeat, you have to paste the stock boot img file inside the platform tools folder which we have just extracted from the fastboot enhanced tool. So paste it here, and now you have to just type in fastboot flash boot boot.img and hit enter. This will flash the stock boot img file to the boot partition, and once the flashing is done, simply use the fastboot reboot command and your phone should boot to the OS. If you have used the current firmware, then your phone will definitely boot to the OS. However, this will only happen if you are stuck in a boot loop while obtaining root. If you are in a boot loop while flashing a custom ROM, then simply flashing the boot img file will not do any good. So in that case, you will have to flash the entire firmware. So let's now move over to a third fix. So from third fix onwards, it will wipe off all the data on your phone. So first off, let me talk about the third fix. So the third fix, let's first start off by doing a format data. In format data, it will wipe off each and every file in the internal storage, whether it's a media file, the documents, or the data, apps, games. It will wipe off all the files. As of now, there is no means of taking any backup, but still I am recommending you that if you have any option left, then please take a backup, or else, since you don't have any option, I am still giving you a warning that it will wipe off all the data. But in some cases, if something goes wrong, then doing a format data might rectify the issue. So for that, you have to type in fastboot space -w and hit enter, and it will now wipe off all the data from your phone. Once the wipe has been done, so let's just wait. As you could see, the wiping has been done. I will again recommend you to try the fastboot reboot. So let's see if our phone boots to the OS. In my case, I am quite sure that it will not boot to the OS because I have flashed a custom ROM, and in flashing a custom ROM, if you have obtained a boot loop, then simply doing a format data might not work. But still, let's verify the same and check out the result in this case. So let's see what happens now, and we could then proceed ahead with the next fix. So let me wait for a few seconds. So as I could see, it's still in a boot loop. Let me wait for one more boot up, and then I will proceed ahead with the fix. So let's just wait for one more boot up, and then I will proceed ahead. Let me see what happens now. So as you could see, my phone is still in a boot loop. So once again, I'll have to boot to fastboot mode. So press and hold the volume up, volume down, and power key for around 10 to 15 seconds, and your phone should boot to the fastboot mode. Let's just verify the same. In some cases, it might take a little longer. That's not a cause of concern. So in my case, even doing a format data did not work. So up until now, I have, first off, I changed the current active slot. That did not work. Then I also flashed the boot img file. This fix was for only those who have obtained root and were stuck in a boot loop while rooting their phone. Then the third fix talked about doing a format data, but as you could see, even doing a format data did not work in my case. So let me now move over to the next step. The next fix is quite risky. So this is the second last fix, and this talks about flashing the fastboot ROM using the fastboot enhanced tool. And my last fix is using the MSM tool. So for the OnePlus 1 till the OnePlus 9 series, and for some of the OnePlus Nord series, I will recommend you to ignore the fastboot enhanced tool method and rather jump over to the MSM tool, because the fastboot enhanced tool is quite risky approach, and only try out this method if your phone does not have an MSM tool. So as of now, the OnePlus 10 series does not have an MSM tool, and even the OnePlus 11 series, while it does have an MSM tool, but it's quite complicated as of now. So if your phone does not have an MSM tool, then only try out this method. If your phone has an MSM tool, then straight away skip over to my last fix using the MSM tool. But as of now, I'll show you how to unbreak using the Fastboot Enhance tool. So with that said, this process will also wipe off all the data on your phone. So first off, what you have to do is simply launch the Fastboot Enhance tool. Again, verify that you have extracted the current firmware which is installed onto your phone, and then you have to simply paste the payload.bin file from the current firmware inside the Fastboot Enhance folder. The process will take around 1 to 2 minutes. Again, it's highly recommended that you use the same firmware which was currently installed onto your phone. So in my case, I was using the Oxygen OS 13.1 and it's the same Fastboot ROM. You could download the Fastboot ROM from XDA or any official third-party site. As of now, while it's recommended to use the same firmware which was installed onto your phone, but even if you don't have the exact same firmware, that might not be a cause of concern. But still, I will recommend you to at least use the same Android version. So for instance, if your phone was stuck in a boot loop in Android 13, Oxygen OS 13, then please use the Oxygen OS 13 firmware itself. So download the ROM and then you will get a zip file, extract it anywhere on your PC, then copy the payload.bin file from here and paste it inside the Fastboot Enhance folder. Once again, you could download the tool from here. It's the open source tool. You could download from my guide and the official GitHub link is given here. So let's just wait for a few more seconds. It will take around 20 seconds more for the file to be transferred. Out of all the files, we only need the payload.bin file. You could skip the rest of the files. So let me show you, we only need this file. So with that said, we have now transferred the file. And let me relaunch the Fastboot Enhance tool. So the transfer is now complete. Just select the Fastboot Enhance exe file to launch it. And this time around, make sure that your phone has been shown here. Double click to select it. And now the partition flashing varies depending on the phone that you own. So I am again telling you, it's quite a risky approach and this tool is quite risky, but it's recommended to flash the firmware in the Fastboot D mode. And you could also check mark ignore unknown partition. In some phones, you might get a partition name beginning with COW. If that is the case in your phone, then you could easily remove all those partition. So make sure to delete those partition before moving ahead. So if you get a few COW partition, simply remove or delete those partition, erase those partition, and then reboot your phone to Fastboot mode and then flash the firmware. To be on the safer side, I will recommend you to flash the firmware or rather flash the payload.bin file in both the Fastboot mode as well as the Fastboot D mode as well. It's the safest approach. So simply click on flash payload.bin and now choose the payload.bin file and click on open and then click on flash. You might get a warning message. Likewise, you might get reboot to Fastboot D mode. So click on OK and click on reboot to Fastboot D mode and the flashing will then start. It's quite risky. It might work in some cases and it might not work in some devices. So still, I am saying you, if you want, you could try out this method. So click on reboot to Fastboot D mode, and once your phone is in the Fastboot D mode, you could then flash the firmware and check if it works in your favor or not. I have made a complete video on the same. You could refer to my video and get the job done. However, if it does not work in your case, then at the very most, what will happen is your phone will go to a heartbreak state. For OnePlus, that is not a cause of concern, as we could easily bring our phone from dead even in heartbreak state. And as of now, I will be opting for that approach itself. So now let's move ahead with the last method, and this is the method which comes with the maximum success rate, but it's the most lengthiest of all the methods. But if none of the method works for you, so you will now have to use this method and you have no other choice but to use this method. So first off, make sure to download the MSM tool for your phone from here and extract them onto your PC. I am currently using the OnePlus 8T. So these are the files of that tool. And likewise, I will also recommend to launch the tool using the exe file and then click on yes over here and wait for a few seconds. and once it's login, you have to select other in the login and then click on next. So let's just wait, select others and click on next. Do note that this tool requires an EDL mode and you will not be able to flash in the fastboot mode, but still click on the start button so that the tool is now up and running and it's not just waiting for the phone to boot to EDL mode. So for that, you will have to check mark a few requirements. If you are using the EDL MSM tool for the first time, you will have to install the Qualcomm drivers. So refer to my guide and install the drivers. You could use both the automatic or the manual approach. First off, I will recommend you to use the automatic installation. It will take only a few seconds. In the first menu, select WWAN DHCP and then flash the or rather install the drivers. Once you have installed the drivers, your next course of action is to disable the driver signature enforcement. Otherwise, Windows will not be able to, or Windows will conflict with our phone in the EDL mode and will not let us flash the OSP firmware using the MSM tool. So make sure to turn off the driver signature enforcement on your Windows PC using the instruction given in my guide. Once that is done, you have to download the MSM tool, which you have done already, and now you have to boot your phone to EDL mode. So currently, since we were in a boot loop or a soft boot state, you now have to boot your phone to EDL mode. For that, there are quite a few approaches. So first off, you could use the fastboot command, but beginning with Android 12, the fastboot reboot EDL command does not work in many Android phones. Likewise, fastboot OEM EDL and all such commands no longer work. So as of now, our best bet is to use the hardware key combination. So first off, I will recommend you to unplug your phone from the PC, and now you will now have to press and hold the volume up and volume down keys, and while holding both the keys, connect your phone to the PC via USB cable, and your phone will now be booted to the EDL mode in another few seconds. As you could see, I have got the Qualcomm HS USB QD loader over here and the flashing has started. So you could now let go of both the volume keys and the flashing has now started. So if your phone is still being shown as, let me show you, there are a few issues with this as well. In some cases you might get stuck as, okay, let me show you. So if in your PC, if it's still being shown as something QHS USB bulk, then it could be due to two reasons. The first off is that the drivers have not been installed successfully. So please reinstall the drivers after booting your phone to EDL mode. Connect your phone to the PC. So what you have to do is press and hold the volume up and volume down keys. While holding both the keys, connect the other end of the USB cable to your phone, and your phone will boot to the EDL mode. And under device manager, your phone will then shown as QHS USB bulk. So right click on it, select update drivers and install the drivers using the instruction given in my guide. And once you have installed the drivers, you should then get the Qualcomm HS USB loader, and then you could flash the firmware in the MSM tool. Along the same lines, in some cases, although your phone might be shown as Qualcomm HS USB UD loader, it might show a yellow warning sign. So if that is happening, then it simply signifies that you haven't turned off the driver signature enforcement. So you will have to do so. So you could refer to my guide. Make sure to turn off driver signature enforcement, and once that is done, again boot your phone to EDL mode and then reinstall the drivers, and this time your phone will be shown as Qualcomm HS USB loader, as you could see from here. In some cases, your phone might exit the EDL mode in around 5 seconds automatically. If that is happening, then once you have checked all the requirements, that is once you have got turned off the driver signature enforcement, you have extracted the MSM tool and disabled the signature enforcement, then in that case you simply have to first and foremost run the MSM tool and click on start button. Once that is done, you should then boot your phone to EDL mode and the flashing will then automatically start. In other words, the MSM tool will hijack your phone and it will not let go of the EDL mode. I have made a separate guide and a video on the same. You could refer to my guide in case you are getting a yellow warning sign, in case you are unable to install the EDL drivers, or in case your OnePlus phone exits the EDL mode in 5 seconds. So you could refer to all my guides as well and get this job done. So as of now, the flashing is going on, and in MSM tool, the flashing takes around 500 seconds at the very max. In some cases, it might take up to 600 seconds as well. But at least it's the short method that your phone will now definitely boot to the OS. The only drawback, or well, let's not call it drawback, the only limiting factor with MSM tool is that we only have it till the Android 11. We don't have the MSM tool for Android 12 or 13. So after you have booted your phone to OS, it will boot to Android 11. You could then download the fastboot ROM and simply install it using the local upgrade option of OnePlus. Or you could also install the OTA, but in case of OTA, you might first get the Android 12 update, then you might get the Android 13 update. However, if you use the fastboot method, that is simply download the latest Android 13 build and use the local upgrade, then you could easily skip the Android 12 update and install the Android 13 update onto your phone. With that said, I will recommend you to do a format data as well. Moreover, after flashing my MSM tool, the MSM tool will relog the bootloader. So if you are planning to flash any custom ROM or any custom binary, you will have to unlock the bootloader once again. For that, you have to boot your phone to fastboot mode and simply use the fastboot flashing unlock command. And before that, you have to unlock the OEM unlock toggle from the developer option. I made a video on how you will unlock the bootloader, but just to repeat, once the flashing is complete, you have to tap on version number 7 times, then go to developer option and enable USB debugging and OEM unlocking, then boot your phone to fastboot mode and then use the fastboot flashing unlock command. After that, your phone will boot to fastboot mode and you will get a warning sign. Use the volume key to highlight unlock the bootloader and press the power key to confirm. With this, the bootloader will be unlocked and then you could proceed ahead and carry out the task. On some cases, I have heard that you might not be able to unlock the bootloader on OxygenOS 12 or 13. If that is happening, then I will recommend you to unlock the bootloader right after flashing via the MSM tool, and only then you do the upgrade. I have come across a few issues wherein the users have not been able to unlock the bootloader on OxygenOS 12 and OxygenOS 13. So in such cases, I will recommend you to unlock the bootloader right after flashing the MSM via the MSM tool, unlock the bootloader and only then do the upgrade. So with that said, the flashing is now going on and it will take only a few more seconds. You will keep a track of all the files flashing from here. The longest time is taken by the Super IMG. That file has been flashed already, and now the rest of the file will not take that much longer. Only around 30 to 40 seconds might be left, I suppose. So let's just wait for the flashing to complete. And I know it's been a little longer guide, but if you get any issues anywhere, do let me know in the comment section. Likewise, I will link all the guides, including the how to check the current active slot, how to flash the ROM using fastboot enhance tool, and how you could unbreak your phone using the MSM tool, how to install the EDL drivers. I have made a separate video on the same on all these topics. Anyways, with that said, the flashing is now complete and you will get a download complete message. As soon as that happens, your phone will now boot to the OS, and do keep in mind that the first boot up will take up some additional seconds. That's completely normal. So let's just wait for the phone to boot up, and this time around I could surely bet that the phone will boot to the OS. So as you could see, the best thing with MSM tool is that irrespective of the phone state, if it's soft break in the boot loop, and even if you cannot access the fastboot mode, all this is not a cause of concern. You only have to install the EDL drivers and boot your phone to EDL mode. Once you do so, you could then easily flash the firmware. The firmware comes inbuilt with the MSM tool, and this is the OPS firmware. So you just have to flash this firmware and your phone will surely get unbreaked with this method. So with that said, let me now show you my phone status. And as I have told you, the first boot up will take up some additional seconds. That's completely normal. From subsequent boot up, it will not take that much longer. So let's just wait for a few more seconds for a phone to boot up. If you want, you could restore the data right now or unlock the bootloader first. As I have told you, MSM tool will reload the bootloader. So you could first unlock the bootloader and then restore the data. So as of now, I will be skipping the initial setup screen and then just show you the status of my phone. Let it boot to the OS and then I will proceed ahead. As you could see, it's taking somewhat longer, but it's not a cause of any concern. It's just for the first time delay. From the subsequent time, you will not get that much longer boot up time. So don't worry and leave your phone in this state only. Well, it might even take up to 5 to 6 minutes. So that's not a cause of concern. It happens every time whenever you flash a firmware. Whenever you flash the FP firmware via the MSM tool, you will always have to face this delay. But one thing is for sure, your phone will definitely boot up. So as you could see, my phone has booted up. And let me quickly go through the setup screen, and I will skip the initial setup offline and just show you the OS part. So let me show you that. So let me skip the rest of the stuffs, and so let me select this. And so with this, as you could see, my phone has booted to the OS and I could now carry out the desired task. So guys, as you could see, I could now easily access the settings menu and all the stuffs, and my phone is up and running once again. So on that note, I round off this video. If you have any queries with regards to any of the methods, do let me know in the comment section. And guys, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tips and tricks. Thanks a lot for watching.